Hey everyone, welcome back with Beano Mac, where today we're going to start a new playthrough here on Miscellaneous Mondays, and that's going to be, as you can see, Plants vs. Zombies Replanted. Now this is of course just mostly the same game as Plants vs. Zombies the original, which released in, I want to say 2010, but it might have been 2009, I can't remember honestly. Either way, you know, this is just the new updated version. We got HD graphics now. I think a lot of people are upset because I guess EA said they weren't going to use AI to upscale the game, and I guess they did. I kind of don't really care, if I'm being honest. That said, you know, we're just going to kind of get right into this here, and, you know, you might be able to tell, like I said, the updated graphics are HD now. And there's also going to be some new modes and, you know, level designs and stuff like that we're going to look into. As far as adventure mode goes, I don't think that there's anything that's going to be different or new or changed from, you know, the base game. So, you know, if you're familiar with this game already, then there might not be anything new or exciting for you quite yet. But we will get to those, you know, the new added levels as well as, you know, just any of the new modes that they've added and stuff. It's not too much, but it is, I am interested in what they have. I am excited to see what they have in store and what these new levels and modes are going to entail. So, but first off, you know, we got to just play the regular game and get through adventure mode here first. And I figured that I would go through, you know, we would do, you know, 5 levels each for each, you know, episode here, and I figured that's, you know, enough to kind of hopefully satisfy those, you know, who are watching 1 through 5, then 6 through 10, and, you know, we got the day part here first, you know, and of course we got to get through what it's essentially the tutorial levels, but you know, it'll get we'll get action heavy pretty soon, you know. And this game, it starts out pretty easy, but boy oh boy does it get hard. Or at least it can get hard, you know, and it's, I love this game. This game is such a full experience, too. You know, it was made by PopCap Games and stuff like that, and they were pretty awesome back in the day, because they had, like, they were pretty much, I think they specialized in, like, PC games, and had a lot of really cool ones, you know, but ones you would expect to be released on a PC, right? You know, they had Peggle, which was pretty good. That was a pretty fun time. They also had Zuma's Revenge, which is a lot of fun as well, but nothing beats Plants vs. Zombies. And the cool thing about this game is it really is just a simple tower defense type game, but man oh man, like they just, you know, like you look at like their other games, and the other games are pretty action packed and it has a lot going for them and a few different modes, but it feels like with Plants vs. Zombies they really took this whole, you know, the whole concept and just ran with it, which is awesome. And you know, it wasn't just, you know, let's do adventure mode and stuff like that. You know, with the different variations of, you know, play you can do with that. It was, you know, let's do adventure mode, then we'll do a special second playthrough adventure mode, you know, that changes things up so it keeps, you know, things don't get too stale. Then let's also have puzzle mini games, a whole bunch of mini games as well, you know. Let's also add in survival mode, and it just gets crazy. It's such a, you know, a very full experience. You know, they have the Zen Garden too. So there's just so much. You can spend hours upon hours upon hours upon hours upon hours in this game. And I definitely have in the past. And I really look forward to, you know, really exploring this title again. Like I said, there's new things in here as well to, you know, set it apart from the original release that I'm looking forward to. Apparently there's a Rest in Peace mode, in which you have to go through the entire adventure mode, but you cannot lose a single level, and I believe that there's other factors at play other than just that. Like, I think, you know, enemies get stronger, and I think that, you know, you don't have lawnmowers, which are like, you know, your last line of defense if they get through your plants. And on top of that, I think, you know, there might even just be some things, you know, like damage modifiers or something like that, or speed of enemies. I don't know, I haven't really checked it out, but those are just some things I may have heard. I can't confirm those yet, but we'll actually see those things together in this playthrough. What happens? I'm a little spooky. It's a little spooky. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little spooked out. You know, I'm a little nervous. You know, Ooh, a little nervous to see what's gonna happen. But that said, you know, oh boy, we got the cone heads here. Attack the cone heads. Yeah, I mean, that said though, there's just so much to this game that I love. And PopCap, like I said, they used to make a lot of great, just, you know, computer games. They also made Bejeweled, I guess. I was never a fan of that. Like, I've had enough of it in this game. I'm not really a big fan of that kind of puzzle game. Just basic matching and stuff. And eventually they got bought out by EA. But yeah, I mean, they were legends at this time. And I actually got into this game because of my grandfather. He just, I think, bought it and stuff like that. I guess he just happened to see it at like the store or something, and he played computer games. And yeah, he started playing it. You know, eventually we got introduced to it because of that. And I remember for the longest time, like, I didn't know what the game was called because they didn't tell me. They just said, hey, it's the zombie game, and for some reason I thought it was Zombies Ate My Brain or something like that. Like the first time I played it, because, you know, you lose, it says the zombies ate your brain. So I don't know, I jumped to conclusions, I guess. But either way, I figured out what it was called. And you know, it was like 6th grade that I was playing this game. And I would always just, you know, around that time, my mom would just drop me off at my grandparents' house to watch me for like an hour before I had to go to school and stuff, and they would take me, and I got to play it between those hours, and it was every like school day pretty much. So it was awesome because, you know, it was just my way of being able to play that game. And, you know, obviously I fell in love with it, and it's one of those things where I feel like I definitely connected with my grandfather through this game too. You know, for the longest time we had like a race to you know, see who could beat the game first. He actually won, not just because he like lived there, but I actually got stumped on, you know, a lot of later levels. I could not adapt to certain areas in this game. Eventually I did, and I kind of pulled through, but you know, it definitely took me a while as a kid to kind of adapt to certain things. But yeah, I mean, he played the heck out of this game too. I mean, he beat all the... I've never gotten the Golden Sunflower Trophy, and to do that you have to beat all the mini games, the adventure mode, the puzzle games, and the survival modes. And I don't know, I just could never do it. I never really... there was just certain games like the Zombotany, I think it's called, or Zombotany. And I just could never really beat that second one. So I just, you know, I never got that, but he did, so... You know, and for him, he wasn't like a guy. He was just trial and error, and you know, he was old-fashioned, like that one guy who apparently beat Resident Evil Requiem. Yeah, I guess there was a guy who beat the recent Resident Evil Requiem game that came out, and you know, he was like streaming it. I guess he was just a retired architect or something like that. It was something like a crazy job, like that had to do with heavy planning. And people were just, you know, talking about how cool it was online because he was just, you know, making notes the whole time during his game. And, you know, like, I think he even mapped out areas of the game and tried to remember and, like, you know, puzzle solve the classic way instead of doing walkthroughs or guides and stuff like that, which, you know, was pretty cool. I guess he was like a 90-year-old dude or something like that, or 80s or 90s or something. Really old is the point. And I don't know, he just had an article made of him because people really loved watching his streams. I think he's from, like... Jeez, I can't remember. It's some like Asian country. It was either... I want to say it was from China, but I can't remember. Either way, that was my grandfather too. He was old-fashioned. He didn't really take notes or anything like that, but like he just kept trial and error, figuring out what worked and what didn't, and all this other stuff. And you know, this was always this game. He played the game like 10 freaking times over the years. And, you know, it's unfortunate he's just kind of in a state where he can't really do that anymore, sadly. But, you know, this game, you know, has been literally essentially a family game for years and years in my family, you know, because I played some co-op with, you know, some friends. I've also, you know, played, I plan on doing at some point maybe even a co-op playthrough in this game with, you know, some other people as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Of course, we got Crazy Dave here, you know, even my uncle played this. All my brothers played this game. I mean, it's just a classic, man. It's so crazy to me to even think playing this game. Like, I grew up playing this game, you know, like I said, 6th grade, and man, time passes by so fast. Like, it's been almost 20 years since this game has been out, and it just doesn't feel like that to me. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Life goes by fast, and it goes by faster than you know. It's crazy. You just look back one day and you're like, man, this is that old. That's crazy. It seems like yesterday. But I don't know. That's just how it is, but I'm sure everybody who's watching this already knows that's how it is. I even remember playing like a lot of the you know, back when this game came out, like you know, 2010s and stuff, Facebook games were kind of a big deal, right? You know, it seemed like every franchise had like a game you could play on Facebook. I remember I loved playing the Pawn Shop or Pawn Stars game. And you know, another one that I played, I forget what it was even called, but it was like a Facebook game with Plants vs. Zombies, and it was like 3D, and it looked weird, but like it was this cool, it was awesome, you know? It was this cool experience where like you could invade other people's houses to get extra points and brains and stuff for the, you know, the week to get, you know, upgrades and stuff. It was kind of like, you know, app games. It may have even just been like an app game at one point, and they added it on Facebook too. Kind of like how Candy Crush started out that way. But, you know, like you could set up your own wall defense and have people invade it and try and protect it. And then you could also invade other people's walls, and whoever had the most brains within like your group, or a certain amount of brains or something like that within a group, by the end of like the week got like some like bonus prizes that like you would otherwise have to actually pay real money for. And I think it was just, I can't even remember what those things were for, but you know, just fun ways to interact with you know, friends. And I even got, you know, my cousin into it, even though he never played the original game. I got my uncle into it, even though he didn't play the game. And the only issue that it really had was it just did not run well. You know, I loved playing the game and I would play it more often. Unfortunately, it did not run properly on you know, even on the computer. I don't know what the deal was. It was just not a very well-made game from that regard, I guess. Just too much going on screen, so it would lag, and I mean lag. Like, it was just unplayable. But that said, thank you guys for watching, and join back next week for the rest of the day levels.